one of the most important relationships that I have is with my husband. And we are celebrating our 23rd anniversary tomorrow. So that's why today's topic is, do you want to stay married? That's a big question. And I think that everybody who's married might ask that question to themselves at some time. Do I want to stay married? Do I want to stay in this relationship? Um, is it going the way I thought it would? And what do I do when it's not? So these are big questions. And as I approach 23, um, I think I have been thinking a lot in the last few years, especially about what creates this longevity in a relationship, that it can persist and endure and ride with the ups and downs and break and repair and go through so much transformation. When we got married 23 years ago, we were so young. We were both in our mid 20s, and we both had lived overseas. We'd had some great experiences. We were finishing up our undergraduate degrees. Um, but, we'd never been married before. And so everything was new. And we had so many expectations and grand ideas and ideals. And so I remember the very first time that we had kind of a bigger disagreement, and not a fight at all, but just a disagreement about something. And it was so painful. It was so painful because I just thought, oh no, there's discord. I've rocked the boat. I was a little bit quick to jump and do something. I should have talked to him first. And I just felt so bad. And it just hurt so much that we weren't in perfect peace and harmony. And we're so new, and you just think you get married and everything's going to be so smooth for a really long time. Like, you don't have problems for 10 years, right? um, and I just remember going over to one of my in-laws' house, and my sister-in-law saying, "It's okay." And I don't even remember how it came up that I shared this with her or whatever. And I just said, it's just so painful that there's discord. And she said, don't worry, it'll get easier. You'll get better at it. You'll get better at talking about things. Get better at bringing it up sooner, and you'll get better at resolving. And it's going to be okay. This is a skill you're going to learn. And that was so reassuring. And I'm really grateful to her for saying that, because it did kind of help me feel like, okay, it's normal to have disagreements. It's normal to not see eye to eye. It's normal to rock the boat. And then there's turbulence. And speaking of turbulence, a couple weeks ago, I was flying to visit family, and we hit some bumpy air coming in to land, and we were all just like bouncing, catching air in our seats. And I just was like, what do I grab onto? And I was grabbing the headrest in front of me, or I was grabbing onto my seat. I was just like, at the armrest, what am I grabbing onto to kind of get some stability? And I was thinking about that today, how, in our marriage, in our relationship, we're going to have turbulence. It's just inevitable. What are we going to grab onto is the next question. You want to stay married. You see the value of your relationship. You see that there's potential, that there is goodness, that there's love, there's respect, there's kindness, there is a reason to keep going. You see it, although it might feel kind of heavy and daunting. Um, I'm specifically talking about relationships where there is not abuse. If there is abuse, you need to get professional help. You need help. Um, that's all I want to say about that for right now. This episode is about couples who are just maybe not getting along as well. They're not seeing eye to eye. They're starting to feel discouraged. They're starting to feel uh, you're just maybe getting into a lull, and you've lost some of the sparkle and enthusiasm of the early years or months. And so I want you to think about that. When you experience turbulence, remind yourself, this is normal. We are not robots, and we're not two halves making a whole. We're two whole people creating something new that's never been there before. When you have a marriage relationship, it's something new that you are creating together. And it's going to take time to figure it out. It's going to change, as you grow and mature, as life circumstances happen, as emergencies come up, as job loss or failure or illness or um, death in the family, or just all kinds of things that can come unexpectedly, and they can hit you in a really hard way, and they might hit you differently, you and your spouse. So what are you going to hold on to? I think that you have to decide, what is it that you really value about this new creation, this new entity that's separate but created by the two of you? What is it that has value and merit to you? What is it that you are looking for? What is it that you are looking to expect and receive from it? And how much of it are you willing to give? I think that we might run into problems when we just expect to get a lot. I want you to love me the right way. I want you to serve me the right way. I want you to talk to me the right way. I want you to do this for me the right way. And you have like this grand menu of like, I want it done this way. Your spouse is not there to serve you. You are there to work together as a team, as like joint executives of this new creation, this enterprise. Look together. What are we creating together? It's not just about me being fulfilled through you. It is us creating something that brings joy and fulfillment as we create it together. I have this chart up here, the nervous system, because the nervous system is at the heart of all of your experiences in your marriage, in your professional life, in your personal life, outside of your marriage, your friendships, things like that. Your nervous system is guiding all of this, processing all this information, reading his or her facial expression and tone, and making meaning out of it. You get to decide how you are going to continue. You get to decide how you are going to receive feedback from them. Is that feedback painful because there's some truth in it and you're finding out that you have made a mistake and you don't like that? Your nervous system will then be triggered and you will experience something that looks like this. So when your nervous system determines that something has become a threat to you, something is threatening, feedback can feel threatening because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be a bad person who's harmed someone that you love so much. That can feel very painful. But today I want to point out, you get to decide how you handle feedback. You can learn how to listen and calm your body down to calm down this response so that you don't automatically become defensive and angry and be in fight mode, or become really anxious and retreat and avoid your spouse and the problem that you're facing. You get to choose. And it's not easy. It takes work. It takes practice. It's a training of the brain to function in a more open and expansive way. That is maturity. And when you get married before your brain is fully developed, you're going to find out that we're not always very mature. And even in our 40s, we're not perfectly mature and beyond, right? We're human beings in constant process, constant growth, constant development. And our nervous system is always going to be responding to things. While we are in a state of calm, and just calm your body, calm your brain. And right now is the time. Everything's calm. I'm all by myself. Maybe you're watching this in your room or at work, sitting on your bed. I don't know what you're doing. But right now, take this as a moment to calm your body down. Tell your brain right now, it is okay for me to get feedback from my spouse. I'm getting a window into his or her brain and nervous system. When your spouse comes to you and says, I feel hurt when you said this, I, I or do this, I feel or I felt hurt when you said this or said that. I can train myself right now to say that feedback is really important. This is our business meeting so that we can run our corporation, our marriage, and and make sure that everything is being taken care of in the best way possible. So getting feedback is helping me to see how the other person who is a complete whole, I'm not fulfilling him or her, and you're not, or he's not fulfilling me, right? We are working on fulfilling ourselves and creating something beautiful and wonderful together. Um, and so right now, decide that feedback helps me know him or her better. It helps me to know how their nervous system and their brain process and understand the world. This is an opportunity for me to have more tools and more insight and more, things to work with so that our relationship can get stronger, so that we can be a stronger, unified partnership. So, what am I going to hold on to when there's turbulence, when there's feedback that feels painful? What am I going to hold on to? You have to decide that so that as it comes, then you can ride with it. You can grab onto something and stay safe as you're riding those bumps. Learn to calm your body down. Say, this is okay. He's allowed to tell me feedback. He's allowed to say that. And actually, I really, really want him to. I really do want to know when something I do is hurtful because I love him so much. And I want this thing that we're creating to be strong and intact. So when it comes to feedback, when it comes to communicating as a spouse, as spouses, as a married couple, what you say and how you say it are so important. So I might need to give feedback, but it's not going to be helpful at all if I use language and tones that are very triggering. Because if I use language that says things like, you always, you never, categorizes my spouse in a certain way and just puts them in a box, in a pigeonhole. This is how you are all the time. That's always, hyperbolic speech is, and this might be hyperbolic, but it's never accurate. So hyperbolic speech is very dangerous because it's rarely accurate, if ever. I don't know if it ever is accurate. So if I'm saying you always do this, you never do that, or if he says that to me, or if your spouse says that to you, you're very likely to get triggered and become defensive because you're like, wait a minute, your brain can think of all the times when you didn't do that or say that, right? And so the way that we want to communicate, we want to do it in a way that is purposely trying not to trigger the other person. And so it's very effective to use I statements. Like to say, well, I felt uncomfortable when you said this or you said that. I felt forgotten. I felt overlooked. I felt like I didn't matter or you didn't care. When you say you're putting the responsibility and the ownership in your own hands of your experience. You don't criticize, blame, and accuse them of creating those feelings inside of you, but you just say, this is the reaction that I had when you said it this way, when you said that, or you said it at this time that was kind of inconvenient, or Yeah, I've had to learn, like, don't bring things up when we're trying to fall asleep. Don't do that, because then the brain gets going and then you can't fall asleep, right? So just learning how you say it, what you're saying, when you're saying it, how is it showing that you're holding on to that thing, that reason that you want to be married and stay married. Maybe you feel like marriage is a good thing and it's a wonderful thing. It helps to create a strong, stable community when couples can reconcile and work together and work through the problems that might arise, and they're able to work through it and create a stronger unit. The children benefit, the community benefits. So that might be why you just hold on to marriage, you just believe in marriage, right? Maybe your reason, what you're holding on to during turbulence, is just that you really love that person and you want to have this life together. That means a lot to you. You want them in your life, you want to be in their life. That's another good reason. So think about that. Consider, what are you holding on to? If you're staying in the marriage just for your children, just so you don't harm them, you might want to work on that. You might want to hold on to that, but then bring it up a level. You want to hold on for the kids, but then you want to also enjoy that relationship with your spouse. So, what are the things that you need to do to create enjoyment with your spouse? What do you like to do? Are there things you can do together? Or maybe you need to set some goals and schedule more time together. But find ways to up the level, up the reason, not just for the kids, but also for you. You can continue to notice in yourself when your nervous system is getting triggered. You find yourself defensive. You find yourself irritated. Why are you irritated? Are you feeling frustrated by something because it's something you've talked about before and it hasn't changed? Then you might need to go to counseling together. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's a really good thing to have an outsider who's very objective, to be able to listen to both sides and then give you some feedback. You have permission in your corporate, I don't want to reduce marriage to a business contract, but think about that. When you're both fully invested in this creation of a new um, and beautiful entity, your marriage relationship, you get to be full partners. You get to say and share whatever you need to. The communication to be open, for the problems to be resolved. We need everybody on board, right? It's all hands on deck in a marriage. You need both of you fully involved, fully invested, and um, and both fully committed. So look for the things that could also possibly be derailing your attention from your spouse, where you're putting more interest and more emphasis and more importance on something else and just kind of leaving them to the side to kind of take the scraps that you're leaving of your time and your attention and your affection. I want to encourage you to seek out some professional help if you need it. Also, do the work understanding yourself. When you're getting triggered, realize your brain is picking up on something. Something is amiss to you. So if you're bothered by socks on the floor, you get to decide if you're going to continue to be bothered by that or not. Making a request sounds like saying, I'd really prefer that you put your socks in the laundry basket because having a clean home is important to me. And it's a small thing. And are you willing to do that? Would you be willing to do that? Just put your socks in the laundry. Do the work together. Do the work together of exploring and talking and communicating in a way that helps everyone to feel safe, and listening to your tone, watching your facial expressions, your eyes. Don't roll your eyes, just the little things that you can do can go so far in your marriage. Making sure you're pointing out the good, the things that you do love and appreciate. The more you do that, your brain is going to focus and latch in, looking for the good. When you tell your brain it's important to notice the good, it will continue to look for it. It's up to you. You are the guardian of your experience and how you perceive your spouse and how you show up. You are the guardian, and you need to take responsibility for that and see the power that you have. It's in your hands to create that beautiful relationship. It's in your hands to help create the environment where you can thrive together. If your spouse truly is not doing his or her part, then that is where I do recommend professional assistance. But if you're willing to talk, to continue to talk. And sometimes it can be hard to start a conversation. You can just even say, I don't know how to start this conversation. I'd really like to talk about something, but I don't know how to start. There's a script. You just start with that. And is now a good time? Or what would be a good time that we can talk about something I've been kind of troubled by? These are ways that you can start that conversation and know that you have the right to do it. You have the right and you have the power, and they have the right to do the same. Decide now that you want to create a safe place for them to express their concerns as well. Decide now that you want to have more fun together. Decide now that you want to implement a kindness zone at home, that you never belittle, never criticize. You can talk about things without belittling and without criticizing and without being sarcastic. And I really think sarcasm is one of those things that can erode a relationship over time in a big way. But also just remember, it's okay. It's okay if there is turbulence at times. You haven't necessarily done anything wrong. And maybe you do need to adjust some things, and it's going to be okay. You are capable of change. You're capable of small adjustments, little by little, setting reasonable expectations for yourself and for your spouse, and you can work together step by step, make it stronger, a little bit better. Ride the turbulence, kind of break a little bit, come back and get stronger. I think that's all I wanted to share today, but thank you for joining me. My name is Michelle Cox, and I'm with the Changemakers of East Texas, and we're here trying to make changes, make positive change in our community, in our homes, and within ourselves, that we can have that peaceful feeling that we really desire and crave, where we can feel good, we can extend that to other people. We need to regulate ourselves before we can try to make a really meaningful impact in the world. So understanding yourself is such a beautiful gift that you can give yourself. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have a wonderful week.